Greetings, and for October, I'm seeing a major earthquake in the Northeast to the upper Midwest. I'm seeing oil rigs being shut down due to another Gulf storm or another hurricane, spiking gas prices, and also a candidate may pull out. And these are just a couple of the things that I'm seeing for the month of October. So welcome to the October psychic forecast and channeled messages. And what I have is a little bit on the numerology and astrology of the month. I have pages of notes. I'm going to be reading and working from my notes a lot also, because it's all written down. I have a channeled message that I did through automatic writing earlier today, as a matter of fact. Hopefully I'll be able to read that. We have some recommended spiritual exercises for the month, and I'm going to do some divination cards in the end to get more messages and more predictions. This is all coming through from spirit. It's all choice centered. Timelines are changeable. The nature of predictions is take it in, and if we don't like what we're seeing, well, let's figure out how to change that to more positive outcomes. So if you're watching this as a video, I'm going to start in just a minute or two. I just want to give the live people another moment to get their notifications. And with that, I'll just say hi, Katie, and hi, Millie, and Lisa, and Michael Marr. Welcome, and Yvonne, Laura. Hi, Faban, Funky Fee. Hi there, and Rachel. Welcome, and Peggy. Let me turn the pings off. And Horses, and Brooke, and there's others coming in. Hi, Kiss. Hi, Claire. If I didn't mention you already, and if I miss anybody, I apologize. I just like to say personal hellos, and it's also a way of filling some time while people are getting their notifications. And the people that want to join us live. More people watch this as a video anyways. So hello, fellow light workers, fellow starseeds, spiritual people, and just generally awesome people. Thanks for being part of this community. We're growing and expanding, and more people are branching out and doing their work. So we're all part of this network of spiritual awakening, part of this collective. And that's really what this is about. This is about collective awakening right now. For August, back in the day, back in August, I predicted ahead of time that was going to be the collective quantum leap. I do believe, from what I feel and what I see around me, that actually happened right on schedule. Not everything does, because the timelines can change. Then, as I had forecast in the beginning of September, for September to be a quieter month, not as much going on, not as much energy spikes, not as many solar flares. Yes, it was eventful, but relatively speaking, that was accurate also. That's going to be all change in October. In fact, starting September 28th, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second, we started to enter the next phase that's going to carry into October. So, anyways, hi Stephanie, hi Tracy, hi Mr. Floyd, Jarrett, and anybody else that I missed. So I see people are coming on. So like I said, I've got my glasses on. That generally means that I mean business. Do I have my divination cards with me? Where do they go? Here they are. Okay. I want to make sure I got everything handy before I really start. I've been doing a lot today, a full day of readings, doing short videos for tomorrow. And Miss Floyd saying, all right, so there you have it, starting September 28th. Okay, so it's a solar flare. Solar flares take anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes to reach the Earth. Are we sure that wasn't a coronal mass ejection we're talking about, if we're talking about it hitting Thursday or Friday? I mean, I could be mistaken, but solar flares happen, and they travel so fast. They hit the Earth in minutes, I believe, unless I'm wrong. Or I'm just whipping out my divination cards. That's towards the end. All right, I think I've got 3 different things. I wanted to do the frequency of the month also. Oh, there we go. All right, yes. I must have been Japanese in another lifetime, because I have a low table. I sit on the floor cross-legged, and that's how I'm comfortable. All right, so let me see. What do we have here? So we had the Quantum leap in August already. I explained that already. And experience. So September we experienced that collective mourning. I was giving you the heads up at the beginning of the month, the collective grieving. Basically, when you have a quantum leap, like in the electron, it goes from a lower to a higher frequency. Our consciousness, our collective consciousness underwent a similar process. So it's kind of like we can't go back to what was. And we know that because energetically we feel that we're not who we were as a collective as well as individuals. So there's always going to be a grief, of what we've quote unquote lost, but what we gained is going to be so much better. And the awakening is really going to start. Like I said, they were saying it September 28th, which was 2 days before the end of September. That's when the shift happened. Mr. Floyd's, Josh informed us that we had a solar flare or CME that happened yesterday. I mean, maybe there's a delayed plasma. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an astrophysicist, so don't mind me. But in any event, let me go back. So for October, it'll be anything but quiet as energy spikes resume. And our biggest wave of collective awakening begins. So October is the month of the biggest spike of awakening so far in this process. And we've had different spikes, dating back to 2010, 2014, 2020, to name a few, earlier this year. So it's all a process. Everything travels in waves. There's crests and there's troughs. So we're going to have another wave of collective awakening. But it won't be without its challenges. So in any event, so before I get into the actual astrology, I have a friend and a colleague named Adariah Susan. She's one of the very best mediums I know that I've ever met. And trust me, I know a handful of world-class mediums, people that are known around the world. She's one of the best. And she messaged me just, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. And she was asking, ask me if I know anything about the rays of light. And I was saying, well, I know about the 7 rays, Alice Bailey's work somewhat. You're saying, no, I was just seeing these waves of light. And she was wondering what that means. So I went into meditation, asked my guides, the master teachers, and they said that Adariah was visually seeing the upgrades of energy, that we've entered into like a photon belt or a some kind of an energy spike, and she's actually seeing the upgrades visually in waves and ribbons of light. So I said, ask your guides and see if that makes sense. And she said, yep, that's what's happening. So we are in new light now, and it's very kind of rainbowy. It's very I don't know what the right word is, energetic, for lack of a better word. And this is it. Again, this is the next wave that's starting. So October is a really, really important month. The energy is going to really carry through December and into the beginning of next year. So let's talk a little bit briefly about the numerology and astrology, just the major points. There's so many aspects that I could dive into. Astrology is not my main focus. I use it as information because it's helpful to understand things, because the movement of the planets as well as the numerological changes, they're like roadmaps, representations of the frequencies and the changes of energies, through the movement of planets, the angles. So it definitely matters. But this is a universal number 9 month in numerology. It's a straight number 9. Number 9 is Mars influence or Mars ruled in the numerology circles. Mars is energy, it's action. So this is a month of more action. It's getting off to a dynamic start with today's eclipse, right? Today's only the 2nd. Power, empowerment. Sometimes it can be power over others because it's Mars. It can be about battles and conflicts and stuff like that. But it's also known as completion because it's the last number, and it's the very pinnacle of the 369 code, the Tesla code, because it's 3 cubed. And in numerology, all the numbers except for the multiples of 3 are kind of like the building blocks of the physical world. But 3 and all of its multiples, they behave differently in mathematics. They behave differently energetically. They behave differently in numerology. And this is the wave or the energy that affects what's happening in the physical. So it affects, it's almost like the vowels of the alphabet in a way. You could kind of look at the connecting elements of numerology. So 9 is very, very powerful. A lot happens when number 9 is active. Now, astrological highlights. Well, how about today? October the 2nd, eclipse, a new moon. 10 degrees of Libra. Well, all solar eclipses are on new moons. So it's an annular solar eclipse. We're coming out of that now, and it helps like the nature of eclipse. They happen every 5 to 6 months. So eclipse seasons are not uncommon, obviously, but they help to expose the shadows, the corruption, especially this one at Libra, because it's Saturn's exalted through Libra. So it's about balance, but it's also about law, cosmic law, karmic law, and stuff like that. So the focus is really on reform, equality, because it's the scales, it's the balance, and diplomacy, because 10, although it's a 1 in numerology, it's the Wheel of Fortune in tarot, which is Jupiterian. And Jupiter is a major player this month. Jupiter's a very benevolent force. When so much is changing, there's so much upheaval. Yeah, benevolent forces, we like that, right? So anyways, so what else? One of the reasons that Jupiter's a major player is around October 8th or October 9th, depending on what part of the world you're in. Jupiter goes retrograde. So Jupiter's going to be in a station until, I thought I wrote down the date. But it'll be in its station until later October. I think right until Libra season, Scorpio season begins. At 21 degrees, 21 to 3, that's Jupiter ruled. When planets are stationing, they're more powerful because they're staying in the same spot and radiating their vibe into the collective field. So, and Gemini is a very airy kind of a communication, a fast changing and a fast acting sign. So Jupiter's very, very active this month. And 21 is a beautiful number. It's a manifestation number. It's the world card in the tarot. It's a wonderful energy. Hang in there. If things get tough in your personal life and the world around you, this is really beautiful energy that's catalyzing a lot of these changes. So favors positive expansion, hacks away at the non-essentials, adds power to the divide in society. Well, I don't know if that's in my notes. We may talk more about that, but there is a divide that's happening between those that want to develop more spiritually and want to maybe pull away from some of the ills of society and the pressures to conform to like AI and what's that called? Trans. I can't think of the word. Oh my goodness, I need water. Well, connecting with the technology, like having technology in our bodies and stuff like that, interfacing with technology, that word will do. That's the one I'm trying to think of, but that will do. And so in any event, so it adds power to the divide in society because it's Gemini, energy. That's the duality, and helps you to end negative or unproductive relationships and connections. So again, as it's been a trend, there's likely to be endings of friendships, connections, relationships, that kind of stuff. If that doesn't serve your awakening and doesn't serve the direction you're going in as an evolving and expanding human and spiritual being, basically. So that's October 8th and 9th. October 11th, Pluto goes direct at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So bring on the Aquarian age. It's only going to be a month after that Pluto goes fully into the sign of Aquarius for the next 19, 20 years or so. So this aids in the changes in the economy. Pluto's the undercurrent. Pluto's just one of several microplanets. Is that what it's called? Or mini planets in a belt way out there, way out there. And it has a moon that's about 1/3 its diameter. So Pluto's a real interesting energy because its gravitational effect is extremely, extremely minimal, yet it has a very profound effect in the collective psyche. And it's about transmutation and evolution, the very deep primal urges of our human being, basically. So it's very powerful. So bring on the Aquarian age and change the economy can catalyze a crash or a boon. Yeah, and so that we could see both economic crashes and boons in the same month. Wouldn't that be special? And helps bring out the ills of the world, the government's money to the surface, and especially as time goes on. So there's a little bit more here. October 17th, big day. Big day, because the full moon happens at 24 degrees Aries. That's around 7:30 a.m. It's a super moon. It's a very slight penumbral eclipse. We won't even notice it, basically, but officially, from what I understand, it's actually the third, an unusual third eclipse in the eclipse season. Works because of the number 24. It works on integrity and honesty, changes in global aggression and the nature of things like that, the trends of World War. I won't even say the word because I don't want to set that intention, because it's not going to happen, but it's something to the effect of number 3. And it can actually help to cause a ceasefire sometime during the month, or at least some movement towards negotiations or diplomacy. Now, also later in that day, Venus is going to transit into Sagittarius. So Venus is a little bit edgy in the sign of Scorpio. It feels a little bit better in the sign of Sagittarius because it's more aligned to Jupiter than Pluto energetically. And that's going to add more Jupiter energy because Venus is going to Sagittarius. Also, with the number 9 and things that are going on with the full moon in Aries, Mars is also an important player, and of course, Mars can be about that aggression, power over others, but also it can be power. Exactly my point. Not in any of our timelines. It's just not happening, though. It may appear to be happening. It may be an agenda of the media or the forces that control the media. And after that, on the 22nd, Scorpio season begins. That's the beginning of the Halloween season. So with that, let's see. So some of the things that came up in September that I was able to pick up on and communicate with you is Iran getting more involved in the Middle East war, and certainly that's happening. And so there's a lot going on. The rooftop flooding. It wasn't in Texas, but I said Texas or the Southeast. It was in the Southeast and Southern Appalachia, unfortunately, and it's still happening. It would be a quieter reset month. We talked about that. And also, we picked up on, although I think I mentioned this in the short and forgot to say it in the longer September forecast, but we did forecast a second assassination attempt, if you even want to call that an assassination attempt against Trump. So moving forward, thank you, Laura, for that. See, I have all these little pieces of paper of notes. Upheaval, question mark, individual and collective upheaval and awakening. Yes, light has won. So we want to say that the light has won, but those forces, we can call it light or dark. I don't always like that analogy, but people understand what I'm saying when I use it. They've been it's already like the positive forces have won, but they're not giving up the ghost at all easily, and it takes time for things to happen in the physical. So just because energetically that the light has superseded the darkness, so to speak, that doesn't mean it's going to automatically change on the earth. In fact, usually when one force is being defeated or overcome, they throw everything they have at you until their last breath, and that's when things change. So we're going to see a lot of that up and down energy this month. Stay in your heart, stay in your power, stay in your source. Lots of protests increase, more mandates, stuff like that. Fun things to look forward to. So again, going to read a lot of these notes because I wrote these all down really quickly. Prediction to forecast, timeline shifts. That's increasing. Mandela effects, where you swear, where a group of people swear something happened that never happened. And I do believe that we have kind of ghost-like memories of other timelines in this timeline, and then that can happen. Temporal shifts, or just temporal displacement. That's basically time travel, shifts like that. increasing, basically. And I don't have these in any particular order. Like sometimes I'm a little more organized, and this is the economy, this is the governments, this is the awakening. So I'm just going to throw it all out at you, and hopefully we can keep this live streamed under an hour today. So major entertainer, possibly a sports legend, confesses involvement of cover-ups, possibly human trafficking, misinformation on the pandemic, or misdeeds around that, all that stuff, basically. So we'll see. But that came up. Could that be P. Diddy? Because that's something's already happened there. I think that's his name, right? P. Diddy. It could be somebody else. And speaking of pandemic, a new threat may surface, but I don't think it's going to really go that far. We talked about, I think back in September, that there may be some scattered lockdowns, October, November. Right now, the timelines feel clear of that. Knock on wood. We don't need that anymore. Demonstration strife around Canadian border in general increases protests. This was a prediction either for August and September that, to my knowledge, hasn't happened yet, but I'm still seeing the same thing. So it may be coming. And by the way, not everything that I predict is going to come true. Timelines change, or human error can be a play also. But that said, there has been a marked tendency for the things that I say in these to actually happen, but not 100%. And there'll always be surprises. There'll always be things that I miss. That's the nature of it. So demonstrate. All right, we talked that big influxes of light. So we talked about that with the story about Adariah Susan, that she's visually seeing the light. I think it was passing through what's called the photon belt, that this reality passes through light and dark phases. When that happens, there tend to be like either neutrino blasts or gamma rays or something physical to validate the energetic upgrades. And these affect consciousness, these affect movement on the planet, and new streams of information pierce the veils of human consciousness. That could come in the form of new guides, new angels working with you, new insight, new gifts. And the more you're in your heart, and the more you're in your spiritual vibe, the more you're going to be able to assimilate these upgrades and actually make them your own. So this is a time to double down on spiritual work and spirituality. Could be major solar flares towards mid-month, or sky anomalies. So I think September, there were obviously solar flares. We're in that peak. I don't think there were as many as there were in July and August, and I think there's going to be more in October and November. And then I'm talking Spirit saying especially November. And to the point, there could be regional blackouts, or satellite disruption, which affects the internet and cells. So there could be those types of blackouts. I'm still not on board with that 3 days of darkness, or a lot of these predictions that I wasn't on board have been happening. That, knock on wood, that they won't. If they do, they do. I'll eat crow if I'm wrong. Little salt and pepper, yum 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 yum, like any other bird, right? Big regional blackout. So okay, this was pretty big, and I kind of saw this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was tempted to just do this as a live stream. But don't be surprised if there's an assassination attempt on Harris, or another one possibly on Trump. But that came into my mind. Like I said, timelines might change. It may never happen, but I got that vibe, and I saw that. And hopefully we'll just keep this at attempt, and keep that word active when I say the word assassination. A candidate may pull out, Trump, Harris, one of the VPs. Now, back in June or May, when I predicted that one of the candidates will pull out in the summer, which was obviously Biden, I didn't make this as a prediction, but I said possibly another one will pull out in October. Well, it's October. We'll see what happens with the legal cases of Trump, though I would have a feeling Trump will be next to impossible to remove from running, no matter what happened to him, to be quite honest. So this may affect more Harris or Vance, or it may not happen. Maybe the timelines have already shifted, but it still feels like there's some chaos, there's some changes that requires some quick adaptation. I'll talk more about that in November, with balloting and fraud and all that good stuff, and the demonstrations and all that that's looming. We'll uh, we'll address that later on. But anyway, can't even pull out. Energy favors peace and diplomacy. This is good news because there's a lot of efforts to increase the movement towards WW, you know what? That's somewhere between the number 2 and 4. And that's happening also. So that said, the increase of battles, dissension, etc., also is happening. So again, we talked about this wave of peace starting in late September. I think it's going to continue in earnest in October. We may hear of more groups organizing, stuff like that. But for now, it just seems energetic. And, you can't trust what's in the news. Some people say the news lies. They more trick than lie. I'll put it that way. They omit certain things that are important, and they may be saying the truth, but twisting the words around to give the truth a whole different impression in the public. So they get away with that. I call that the art of tricknology. Don't fall for it. That's my advice. Trust your heart. We're all awakened and enlightened here. Trust your heart. And Flowers is also saying that will not happen. Peace will prevail. So thank you. Keep that intention alive. Major something political figure gets major international political figure either gets assassinated. Though we may hear of that, and that could be anyone from Netanyahu to what's his name from Ukraine. I can't remember the president's name. Valeresky. Am I remembering that right? Maybe Putin. Though what I suspect is that it may be staged, and that particular individual may become a prisoner rather than assassinated. We'll see if that even happens, and if it does, what that means. All right, there's more. There's a lot more. And then I've got the automatic writing. So time is it? Almost a half hour. Okay. So I saw the bottom fall. This was interesting because I got a vision of the bottom falling out in oil. And then I was thinking, maybe oil prices will come down. Well, they've come down. I wouldn't say the bottom's fallen out, but gas prices have definitely come down. And that there could be a significant drop. But then I was shown this big Gulf storm that may hang around the Gulf. Like the last one wasn't in the Gulf so long that it had major impact on the oil rigs. But this one may take down some oil rigs, and there may be another reason that oil prices go up. This can be used as fodder to promote an agenda to get more people to buy electric vehicles, by the way, or hybrids. Government strikes, supply chains cut off. That's already happening, right? The strike already happened. I mean, I did these notes. Well, some of these notes I did today, to be honest, but that one was from last week or so. But anyways, earthquakes, fires, significant October hurricane season. There's a secondary peak of the hurricane season towards around the 10th of October. So Northeast could have a significant earthquake. All right, I talked about that in the beginning, or the Midwest, and still with the fires and all that. So again, the climate and weather is going to be off the hook. I don't need to go into detail about that. I'd be here another 20 minutes trying to meet all of that out, to be quite honest. I was also seeing rounds of missiles being fired. China could be involved, so there could be new players in the conflict. And they showed me the date October 6th, and I don't know why. So we'll see if anything significant happens on October the 6th. But watch out for that date. And then they're showing I'm not sure about this. I don't have high confidence in this prediction, but Biden possibly being in the hospital or something happening with him health-wise. Now, the thing is that there's a lot of facades around that. Like there's some evidence that supports that might not even be Joe Biden that we see, that there may be actors or whatever. I'm saying evidence to support that. I'm not going to jump on conspiracy theories until I have significant validation or proof that they're conspiracy facts. I don't have that at this time from what I've researched basically, or what I get intuitively. But I'll put that out as a possibility because there's so much hidden, and they're presenting. I mean, if he's not an actor, he might as well be. I'll put it that way, because they present things in a certain way, but what's happening is very different from that. So we only see the facade of things, but those facades come down as these energies increase and these spikes increase. So so in terms of the elections, I still think Trump still has a chance. But that said, the timelines that I'm more aware of still favor Harris. That's if she's still in the race, that is. So there's a lot of uncertainty, but I still see her as the victor. And then, they're saying that there's an X factor, and I don't know what that is. Somebody might drop out. Something could happen that they could shift that or change that. And then, of course, corruption in the campaigns, and both candidates are possible. And I wouldn't be surprised if something comes out suggesting or maybe even proving that the first Trump assassination was staged, or that something similar like that was staged. But I think that that's going to be on both sides, because both sides want to win, basically, and they want to create a certain impression with the public. So there you have it. And this is just conjecture, so nobody get upset with me, because I'm I'm not saying this is true or anything, but just say, for example, that there's an assassination attempt against Trump, and he just happens to move his head slightly just at the right minute, and then the bullet misses him. And then the campaign goes, well, God wants me to be the president, otherwise I would have died, stuff like that. So again, watch out for the technology. And again, I'm not saying that happened, but I'm using that as an example of how things work. So just be aware. That's all I'm saying. And but anyways, the collective has not made firm choice, or spirit has not shown me the outcome of the election. I'll put it that way. All right, so going on to number 3. Yeah, I hope you're right, Michael. I'll eat crow if that one becomes wrong. I'll happily eat it. I'll even make a whole 5-course meal around. I'll even make it a raven. Could I have tons of them outside? Keep your sense of humor, right? And then Susan saying truth will come out about EVs. Yes, they will. So truth will come out about a lot of things. So spiritually speaking, significant steps can be made to step into new earth, into the 5D consciousness, etc. Continue increase in alien contact, ETs. So a lot of it's telepathic. We did a video last week on that. Anyway, this Thursday's video, which is tomorrow, is going to be about the next 5 years. The timelines have changed. I have new predictions, so that we're going to unveil that tomorrow as an upload at 5:30. So this is a huge spike in awakening we are seeing this month. Whatever level you are at, expect to see profound shifts in growth. Basically, new information streams penetrate the collective field. We talked about that. And you absolutely cannot take the baggage with you into these new frequencies and new energies. So double down. You must clear the baggage, the emotional baggage, the karmic baggage, all that stuff. We have videos. I have a whole playlist on how to do shadow integration work, how to reprogram your mind, how to do heart-brain coherence. Do these things. They're going to repeat that in a second, because that's sneak preview. That's part of the exercises for the month. But you just cannot take that old baggage into these new frequencies. You're just not going to move into them, and you want to move into them. You don't want to stay where you are, because it's going to be unpleasant. I'll just leave it at that. So keep doing your work. And the thing is, there's so much joy. There's so much expansion. The connection to spirit is going to be so profound if you're able to just step out of the old paradigm and be in the flow and be the change, and to accept the upgrades and embrace them. It's just like things are just going to be so much better for you, from how you feel to what you're attracting and creating in your life, and how you're growing spiritually. So it's worth doing the work that can be painful, because why do we have shadows? Because we suppress things into the darkness, because we don't want to deal with the pain. Sooner or later we have to, but let's reframe that. It's not pain, right? Pain is of the mind. It's an illusion, basically. It's just a process that happens when change happens and when things are obstructed that need to be cleared. So also, you absolutely cannot take this baggage with you in this month. This is the month of the refining test of fire, basically. So, and this is just the beginning of that process. So there's a reason why I use the breaking news thumbnail for this video, not just for views, I'll put it that way, although honestly, that's part of the motivation. But this really is big news this month. So I wanted to use that. Also, big reveals, big news events, major shutdowns of financial institutions, record lawsuit either against Pfizer or pharmaceutical company may come up. They're saying either October, possibly November or December. Economy remains volatile. Continuation of trying to fix the gaping wound in our economy with the Band-Aid. With that, there's going to be the continued assertion through selective information and omission of details that we are in a strong economy. Well, it's debt-based. We're more debt than ever, so I guess that would be a strong economy, right? If it's all debt-based. But anyway, sarcasm aside, we're in anything but a strong economy. But on the surface of things, it may look that way. The standard economic markers and numbers is what's happening between the lines that matters, that's hard to find. And also major retailers stopping to accept currency. I mean, that's been happening already. So I think we're going to see more of that. All right. Anyway, I have the channel messages. Because this is I want to get the information out. I have to post that because that's too funny. And there's announcing of a new that Hunter won't be in office next year, but neither will Trump. Yeah, that's something that I've been predicting. Yeah, and I put that thought out there, so I'm glad your pendulum agrees with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just not getting it yet. That's what I'm saying. I'm still seeing that possible timeline. But it's going to be interesting. We shall see. So anyway, this was from the master teachers. That's the group, the collective that worked with me, my channeling work and my energy activations that we did one yesterday that was really powerful. Heather did one, then I did one for this eclipse. So go just do that if you haven't done that. That'll help you to set you into these higher energies of October. So what they were saying through my automatic writing: take care of yourselves, dear one. Those in power on your world are losing their control, and they know it. They will try to silence the teachers, round up people who are publicly teaching, working towards peaceful resolution. For you, be the silent observer now. Be in your heart, be in your power. Find your point of neutrality and simply observe the world go by. Now, that doesn't mean to be completely silent or to be a sheep or anything like that. Speak your truth always with integrity, but stay behind the veil. Be the observer. You'll know when and how to react to things and how to protest if that's aligned with you. But stay behind the veil, we mean not to set off red flags on your social media, make your public teachings more cryptic. They can only find you through computer algorithms. They want to silence the awakened ones and clamp down. They'll continue being the lords of chaos. So you counter that by being the lords of peace. Make your protests peaceful. Use strategy. This too shall pass. They will try to control and round up the people through fictitious or exaggerated threats. Some same as it ever was. So they apparently they like talking heads also. Silent resistance and strategy are best now. Speak your truth, yes, but don't cross the line and being too visible. Instead, find others committed to spiritual growth, change, and build your communities, your following, your networks from the inside out. Keep the vibrating peace and love into the collective. Make that stronger. The energy shift in mid-month will shake the world, shape your elections, and the lords of chaos will fall flat on their faces. Courage, yes, more courage. It takes more courage to be silent in the face of evil, antagonism, and control than to lash out against it. To control of your freedom than to shout out and protest. Um, Again, strategy. That is the way of the peaceful warrior. The peaceful warrior's best weapon is strategy. Again, strategy. All right, where are we? Um, and exercise in ego control, non-reactivity, silent contemplation, meditation, spiritual expansion. Develop your gifts, your tools, your connection with divine flow. Timeline to take the battle to the street will come, or the timeline to take the battle to the street will come. May come if the timelines don't shift. But for now, make connections, gather your resources, and build the energies of love from within and permeate it out through the collective. The light has won. This will be this will be Custer's last stand. The dark night of the soul will be followed by the dawn, and you will have won. You are still standing. That's how you'll know that you won, that you are still standing. Aggression will transmute into peace. The rebuild will begin. The golden age of humanity will follow. This shall be your last battlefield. Apparently, they like Star Trek also. And remember, they use my references. That's why they connect with my consciousness and use my language. But remember, the battles in the world are a reflection of the battles of within, your personal universe and the collective for something. Formulate peace within yourself, and the world around you will follow suit. So that is that. And yeah, I'm ready for this world WWXXX nonsense also. And again, it's not going to happen. So some of the exercises they recommend: do heart brain coherence. Do I sound like a freaking broken record? uh, this is like every month, but that's the next viral spiritual practice. I've seen more and more out on the internet on it lately, more videos on it. I have videos on it. I do it in a specific way that Spirit and the master teachers show me, that's heavily based on what Joe Dispenza teaches, Greg Graydon and the others. Shadow work integration, we talked a little bit about that. We're still in the equinox season, even though we're trending out of it into the dark now. Light and shadows. So we integrate the shadows and they become a source of our power, and we release that which has held us back in life. Devote more time for meditation. Limit your time in news and social media. When you're in the heart, you're resistant to the programming. In fact, in a perfect world, when you're 100% in the heart, hearts cannot be programmed. Whether they're using frequency, technology, or technology, you cannot be programmed when you're in the heart, because you are in universal heart. Universal heart or God cannot be programmed by men and women. We'll just leave it at that. And the other thing is to practice channeling. The veils are thin now. Automatic writing, mediumship. This will be the best time of year. And this will be a good time to place a very fast strategic plug-in, because I'm doing a very intensive mediumship and channeling retreat here in the Catskills from October the 18th and the 20th during the peak of foliage season. We're going to dive deep into some techniques and some exercises and working in pairs and groups to develop your abilities to channel, as well as a trance channel, or trance mediumship or channeling, trance healing, and spirit art. So there'll be information on that in the pinned comments also. And I'll also be doing free practice circles the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, so that you can join in the circle and practice your channeling and mediumship, with that. And that's completely free. And the retreat for those that want to take their ability to the next level. So 44 minutes. We're actually, for all the information I'm putting out, I'm doing good on being a little less wordy. So that's good, because I wanted to get all this information out in a timely manner. Because if you're the same age that I am, how much time you spend in something matters. I'm just teasing. What's that, Joe? Yeah, hurry up. I'm not getting any younger. Hello, luminaries. Yes. Daniel, my brother, but Daniel is important to MDR. All right, so this is the Starseed Oracle deck. And God, what's the author, the artist's name? She's just so extraordinary. I don't think I have the box nearby. Oh, yes, I do. Danielle Noel is the author's name. Oh, thank you, Laura B. And thank you, Michael. All right, I'm narrowing in on a card. All right. They're telling me I'm thinking too much. I need to just take a breath. So the intention is to get messages, things that I may have missed that are important. Okay, the intention. I found the card. So this card is trust the timing. Oh, that's interesting. And the little message below that is trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. So this to me is making me feel like, to mention understanding the nature of flow, going with the flow. I did a quick 30 to 40 second short today on the flow. So that's kind of interesting. The flow is energy, it's frequency. We feel energy through us when we stop thinking and we start to become more open with our heart and more sensitive vibration. I feel energy flowing through me 24/7, except when I'm sleeping. And even before I'm sleeping, I feel vibration in my body. But I've been doing this for over 40 years. Point being is that the flow is stronger. So you may be meditating for just 1 year, and you might feel the flow because everything's accelerating. But anyway, I'm kind of straying from the point a little bit. But the point being is, once you're in the flow and you go with the flow, you understand there's a divine timing for everything. But the flow is you, and you're the flow. So you can influence the flow as the flow influences you. So that was the point of the video, to kind of say, like, if you're going down, if you're going with the flow on a rowboat, row your boat merrily down the stream, and you stick one of your oars in the water, you're influencing the flow. The flow is still taking you downstream, but you're influencing the direction of the flow that you're going in. So how do you feel the flow? Meditation. Do things like Qigong and Tai Chi. That's the first time I experienced Qi that was so strong that it made my arms move by itself. And there's a whole new reality opened up. It's like, oh, I don't need my muscles. I can use intention and breath. And then the flow can move my body. And that's really at the foundation of martial arts and a lot of things. And that is an example of the flow. So the more quiet and still you get, and then when you go out into nature, it's easier to feel the flows. That's how to do it. So set the intention, quiet your mind, meditate, feel energy flowing through your body. And the expression go with the flow kind of means not to resist things. So again, in your life, they're getting back to the meaning of the card. There's a divine timing for everything. Yes, you can influence the flow, but divine timing. You can't change things. So be patient, keep doing your work every day, feeling the flow, contributing to the flow, and know that everything's going to happen in divine timing. So if there's a rough patch, which a lot of us are happening, because again, the dark side doesn't want to give up. So there's a lot of pressures and there's a lot of challenges. And plus, an awakening is innately challenging, because our survival instincts really want to make us hold on to the old and the familiar, but you can't do that anymore if you're spiritually awakening. So you have to overcome that base human survival instinct. The subconscious believes that what is recognizable is survivable. So it doesn't want new things. It wants to keep doing the old thing over and over again, which is why people have such a hard time with change and releasing shadows, even though they know it's healthy for them. So that's what that's telling me to also interject exercises where you feel flow through your body, and to know that everything's happening in divine timing. Put your intentions out there, but be patient and feel like whatever you desire is already manifested. Make that real in your heart, your mind, your auric fields, and then your universe, as Mr. Floyd always says, or Saint Germain always says through Josh and Mr. Floyd, channels in his channeling that he does on his YouTube channel. You know, your universe has its own timelines also. So anyway, what else? Frequency of the month. Here's my sacred geometry oracle deck. I'm just breaking it up. I'm gonna mix these guys up a little bit. I don't think I've mixed them up since I last used them. Spirit say that's enough. We'll guide you to the right card. Yeah, not to make a big deal about it. Let's see. New people have jumped on. So when this ends, go back to the beginning. Catch it all. Yes, thank you, Susan. I'm not flashing the comments today because I want to get this information out, but you guys can look at the comment streams and read them, even if I'm not flashing them on the screen. Got my card. My card is Earth 24. So they're saying to reminding us to ground also, which makes sense. When there's a lot of energy and frequency spikes and you're not grounded, it's kind of like you're the proverbial weak tree in the storm. Like I wouldn't call the white pines weak trees, but they have shallow root systems. So they're the ones that go down in the storm. But the oaks, the maples, the hardwoods, they're the ones that with the deep root systems that survive the storms. So we want to, there are, storms are part of life. Physical storms and energetic storms are part of life. So that's the reality. And what the card says is the frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to the physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. And you can gaze in the center of the card and get a kind of a feel. You have a violet light and a regular ring light. So you see the violet light. If I move this in a certain way, no, that's the ring light. There's the violet light. Anyhow, that's that. So I think I got the message from that. Remember to ground. I did not mention that. I asked Spirit to give me things that I either omitted or didn't pick up on. Grounding is probably one of the most important things or exercise to do this month. So practice that every day. There's many ways of doing it. I like the tree meditation where you make like a tree, meditate, get relaxed, send roots deep into the earth, send branches up to the top of your head to the cosmos. So you reach for the stars, but you stay very grounded on the earth. And that way you can bring energies from the cosmos into the earth and energy to the earth to the cosmos. And you can help the trees because they're strained now. There's been too much deforestation and too many forest fires that global warming's being blamed on. Is it from global warming? Debatable. I'll just leave it at that. But they ask us to help do the work. So trees, they don't just regulate oxygen and CO2. In fact, the grasslands are much better producers of oxygen than trees are, which also got decimated in favor of modern crops and stuff like that, which don't do nearly as good a job. And then it caused a dust bowl in the 1930s. But that's another story. What trees also do, they exchange energies with the cosmos and the earth. Some trees bring energies from the cosmos into the earth. Other trees bring energy from the earth into the cosmos, and some do both simultaneously. I talk to trees. I've had very literal validation when probably the strongest one was I was in Central Park and I was working with a Japanese maple, and I just felt and heard to please tell the trees to stop, the dogs to stop peeing on me. It's damaging me. And then I looked down, and the base of the tree was blanched from dog urine. And the next, I went back the next spring, and they built a fence around it. So it wasn't me, trees, but somebody listened to you. So anyway, so that's how I feel confident giving you these intangible messages from the trees. This is what they do. And they're a network. They're connected energetically. So there's many trees, but there's one tree at the same time. And in the forest, all the roots are connected beneath the ground. All the trees communicate with each other. They're all working together. So it's shifting the balance when the trees get cut down, when too many trees get cut down. But we, through our meditation, can augment that. So that's what I'm trying to say. One more. Let me do the message card. This is called the I think the Divine Abundance deck, but it's a message deck. So let me just get another quick message. Then we'll end. Let me see what's coming up. Well, we talked a little bit about the retreat. If anybody wants, I still have some openings for a small mediumship gallery tomorrow night. At 7:00 on Zoom, limit of 10. I haven't advertised a lot on that, so as of right now, it's a small group. So that's coming up. There's other things I can't think about. Of course, the big retreat we talked about already. All right. I got my card and divine source. So here's the message, or actually, this is a prayer. So some of these are messages, others are prayers. Sometimes you'll get the messages just in the imagery. It's praying, but there's a lot of birds. Birds are messengers from spirit. They look like hummingbirds, and then the flowers are the nectar, the fruit of life. So there's a lot of rich imagery in this card also. But what it's saying is, and this is a prayer, help me know that all my deepest needs will be met. Let me trust that you have a plan and the right actions will come. You are my source for all. And that's it. When we are able to surrender to spirit, source, or God, and trust in the process and the flows of the universe, great things happen. There's a tendency to hold on to bad jobs because of the fear of the loss of money, but you stay miserable in the lower vibration. If you trust, you can get a better job and more money will come and the universe will provide. That's just one of many examples. So it's a message of trust, and we need that now. God's plan is thousands of years in the making. We can't know why certain people, like why young people left the earth, like people have lost their children, their spouses, all of the above. And we won't know why that happened until we rejoin them on the other side. So even when really horrific things happen, we still need to open and trust and understand that in divine timing, like one week is like 1,000 years, basically. And there really is no time. All time happens in the moment. So trust. And that's what I got for you today. Thanks for coming in and joining us. We have the new moon forecast is up. The meditation, the transmission, that was so powerful. I never felt so much heat in my transmissions in my life. Heather did a beautiful one first. Then we did a very powerful energetic reset, because the energies of this eclipse and this month are reaching new levels. So they were resetting our energy field so that we can handle these influxes of higher energy more gracefully and be able to utilize them for greater growth and greater awakening. So they're all on the channel. I encourage you guys to do that. If you didn't join us yesterday, it'll still have the same power. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. We shall see you next time.